Hi guys, and welcome to another card tutorial where I will show you how to do a simple garden background. Part of it is colored with Copics and part of it is just blended different colors. But I'm going to start off with the Copic coloring of the background. If you want to see me coloring this background in real time and get a lot more details about it and also see the whole coloring of the image, I have a real-time coloring video in the description down below, up in the right corner or at the end of the video, or in all those places. The image I have colored today is called Violet's Red Rose. It is a Make It Crafty image and it's designed by Krista, which is the designer behind Saturated Canary. So if you are missing that she is not designing for Saturated Canary anymore, you can find all her or a lot of her images over at Make It Crafty instead. So let's talk about this. I am coloring with Copics onto some Make It colorful cardstock, which is a Copic friendly cardstock, my favorite of them all, and as usual all the details are linked in the description down below, but also on my blog, which are linked in the description down below. But yeah, for the bush, when you are thinking about coloring like a background with Copics, if you were working with oils or such, you could work from dark to light and then just layer the different colors. But when you're working with Copics, you want to think the opposite way around. You want to think light to dark, because coloring dark, especially with an image like this, it is more like coloring where the absence of light is. So what I did was I started to map out all of the flowers because I wanted to have them all mapped out and ready. Then I took the lightest color and mapped out a whole bunch of leaves, kind of figuring out how I wanted the bush to be rounded and look, but also where I wanted some of the leaves in the middle. When I had finished that, I'm going in with my darkest color and I'm coloring some of the lower leaves much darker, but I also color around the kind of the leaves that I want to make mid-toned. When I have finished coloring the dark, I'm going in with the mid-tone and I'm coloring the leaves that I want to have mid-tone, and then I'm going to color in between the leaves that are going to be light green. I just went in with a light green. I should have gone mid-tone here and kind of just added more mid-tone leaves. I didn't. That happens. But because I added the first leaves first and I'm going in with the second layer with the lightest, I will actually be able to distinguish, that's a hard word, the different leaves a little bit, because they will have a double layer of that color. So here I'm going in with the mid-tone again, then I'm coloring in between the different leaves and around the flowers, and that way it looks like I have colored green leaves, the light leaves. So you kind of just color around them. That's how it works. And just as a note, this technique of doing it, I am very inspired by an artist called Karen E. Haley. She is a YouTuber and an artist, and you can find her as Art by Karen E. Haley both on YouTube and on Twitter. She's more active on Twitter and Instagram because her computer broke and she hasn't been able to do videos for a while. But she's super talented and these kind of backgrounds are her forte. So I've been looking at her videos and trying to figure out how she does it and then kind of replicate it. That's how I learn. The last part of it is just giving a little bit of dimension to those little flowers, and the whole background just came together. I'm really proud of it. you are allowed to be proud of yourself, and in this case I'm really proud of it because I set out to do something and I was able to do it. But you also have to know that I actually did 5 different test versions where I didn't color the whole girl, I didn't even use her, I just drew around her, sort of draw a shape of her on a paper, and then I worked around her trying to figure out how to do this specific. So I did 4 or 5 different versions before kind of saying it, okay, now I know how to do this, and then I went to the image and did it. When I'm cutting here, I kept it in because I wanted to talk about that I have a little bit of a white line, and this actually helps me because then I can keep all of those leaves that are kind of separate from the bush, and I can keep them because the white lines will kind of hold them together. So now we're going to go into the blending. I'm using some Bristol cardstock today, and this is because Bristol cardstock is like blending on butter. If you have distress oxide inks, they blend even better. But here it's just ordinary distress inks. I'm starting with some twisted Citron and moving on with some Mowed Lawn. To think about is that on Bristol these colors will go on much lighter, and you have to work a little bit harder to get them darker. But if you are looking for a light and easy and quick and even blend, then Bristol cardstock is your friend. I'm going in with some pine needles to kind of build up. I'm building up a depth. So you have the twisted Citron all over, then you have the Mowed Lawn, leaving a little bit of twisted Citron in the middle. Then you're going in with the pine needles, leaving some Mowed Lawn in the middle. I'm going back in with the other colors to kind of blend it out a little bit. And to finish it off, I'm going in with some walnut stain just in the edges, because I'm using a chocolate brown card base and wanted it to kind of blend in a little bit. Now to kind of break up that blend, and this is also why I didn't blend the pine needles too much, I just sprayed with a distress sprayer. You can kind of lock it to a distress spray thing to get those splotches, and then I let it dry for a little, or let it sit for a little while, and then dried it with a paper cloth. Now I'm going to do some splatters, and I'm wetting my brush before dipping it in the ink, because then it will be much easier to get the splatters, because you don't need to pick up as much ink into the brush. After cleaning out the brush, I'm gonna go in with my favorite, the golden gouache. I'm adding some water to it to make it a little bit more fluid, and then I'm doing again some splattering, and I'm doing it by just tapping onto the pen. I get a little bit less splatters, a little less controlled, but also a little less splattered. For my sentiment, I'm using a Make It Crafty chipboard piece. This is kind of a double word where you have a outline, which is the back of the word, and then you have a top of the word, which is going to be kind of the word itself. These are made to work to be able to be layered on top of printed images, because this outline will help you to make it stand out a little bit, even if your image is very busy. I really love these, and there are so many different words that you can use, and there's a build a word that you can use with it to kind of build whole sentences or word combinations. But in this case I just use the word smile, hoping to send this card to someone for a smile. So for the coloring of the smile, I'm using abandoned coral and aged mahogany distress paints. All of the paints that I'm using, the white is a white gesso, and the paints that I'm using it with the blending tool and a blending foam. these foams are washable, so I just ran out before they dry. I ran out to the into the kitchen and clean them, so then I can use them again and again and again, and I don't have to worry which color I use them with or anything. It's just to clean them, simple as that. And if I haven't said it already, all the supplies are listed in the description down below, but also on my blog, where you can see more close-up photos of the card if you want to. I using some multimedia mat was the word I was after there, to fasten the chipboard pieces. It's a great glue to fasten both paper to paper, but also like wood to paper and such. I really love that that glue. It's also really great for like multimedia stuff, medium stuff, yeah, something like that. I taped the background onto a brown card base. It's chocolate brown by My Favorite Things. I have cut a letter size in two, and then I have scored it in the middle and folded it to be a A2 card base. Then I use some foam tape on the back side of Violet, so that I get a natural shadow around her, so she stands out a little bit from the rest of the green background, but they still kind of work together to make some kind of depth into my card. Then I'm using some more of that multimedia mat on the back side of the sentiment, the word smile, just to be able to glue it down. But I'm not fully finished here, because I wanted to add some more details to that smile to make it stand out just a teensy little more. So I'm starting off with this brush. This is the Spectrum Noir clear glitter brush pen, and I'm adding multiple layers. Just a little thing, the nib actually got pink when I added this glitter. However, I just brushed it on some paper at the side and it all got brushed out, so it's now clear and nice again. And the last little detail is that I'm adding some glossy accents to the top of the letters to give it that shine. Now it looks a little bit cloudy here, but it will dry clear, so we'll have like a cleared, embossed, glittery word in the end. And that was the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up and share it with your friends. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. If you have any questions, just comment down below where I said you find all details and everything in the description part. Here are 2 other videos that I have made, and thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you later. Bye!